Israel's war against Hamas has prompted waves of protests and activism, both on the street and online. But last week, when the personal information of Jewish members of a private WhatsApp group were published online, it sparked outrage.
The targeting of people because they happen to be Jewish is just completely unacceptable, and it's got to stop.
That's got shocking historical echoes. Singling out Jewish businesses, singling out people because they are Jews, that's something that strikes an echo for every single member of the Jewish community in Australia.
Arts lawyer Alana Kushner was a member of the 600-strong WhatsApp group for Jewish creatives and academics that was set up as a support group after the October 7 Hamas attack.
Some of the most serious consequences are people receiving death threats, whether that's over the phone or threats in private messages on social media or even email. There are businesses that have had to shut down. This kind of one, just genocidal mania.
This link to the log of their chat was leaked online last week, along with a list of members, their professions, businesses and social media accounts. There was also a photo gallery.
What I think is a big issue here is the assumptions that are being made. You're a bad person, that you condone genocide, that you want thousands of children to die, and that is absolutely not true. And that's not true of anyone in the WhatsApp group or any Jews for that matter. Nobody wants to see thousands of children being killed.
Alana Kushner says not all members of the group were active, and some named on the list were not even in the group. No one has claimed responsibility for its publication, and the online platform it was published on has since removed the links.
Having lists of Jews brings up very vivid pictures, not just for Holocaust survivors, but for descendants of Holocaust survivors like myself, of what happened during the Holocaust. And that is that the Nazis made lists of Jews so that they could go and find them and then round them up. And we all know what happened from that point.
How do you feel about being doxxed?
Reaction to the leak was swift. Just 4 days later, and after calls from the Executive Council of Australian Jewry to act, the Prime Minister took to Sydney Radio on Monday.
I've asked the Attorney-General to bring forward legislation in response to the Privacy Act review, including laws that deal with so-called doxing.
Doxing is commonly understood to mean the malicious publication of personal or private details without the consent of the person concerned.
Doxing is derived from the term dropping documents. The government now plans to criminalise it and is also looking to strengthen laws around hate speech.
It may be that some of the information was publicly available, but it's the combination of that information with private and personal information and assembling it in a single set of information published for what appeared to be malicious reasons.
Privacy law expert Catherine Kemp says what the government is proposing is unclear. And while there are already some existing laws to protect people from doxing, further protections are needed, such as a civil right to sue.
The differences would be, firstly, who it covers. It would extend beyond government agencies and businesses to individuals as opposed to our existing Privacy Act. It would also, in contrast to our criminal offences, give individuals a right to sue for damages for the harm that's done for them.
Experts warn expanding privacy laws to cover private correspondence and personal information could have broader implications.
There's a concern that this would chill investigative journalism in particular, but sometimes the publication of information that's required in the public interest.
We'll be looking to make sure that there is a proper protection of press freedom.
But the Attorney-General hasn't ruled out punishment for people who reshare doxing material.
The person who's compiled the information that amounts to doxing, they should be liable, but so too should there be controls on republishers, controls potentially on the social media platforms.
Writer Clementine Ford is one of those on social media who shared online links to the personal information of the 600 Jewish creatives and was also a target of some of its members. She declined an interview with 730, but in a statement defended the sharing of the list as in the public interest.
The fact that they are Jewish is utterly irrelevant. What matters is that they worked in secret to intimidate and silence anyone who expressed views in solidarity with Palestinian people and to strong-arm their employers.
Everybody has a right to write a letter. There's nothing unlawful about writing letters.
Alana Kushner was also a member of the Lawyers for Israel group, some of whom lobbied the ABC for fill-in radio host Antoinette Lattouf to be taken off air. Alana says there have been repercussions since her personal information was made public.
I have had less and less public opportunities, so I regularly speak on podcasts, at panel discussion events on art and law, and those have dried up. Opportunities have dried up.
Activists campaigning for a ceasefire in Gaza, like Dr. Shulan Moore, have had their employment threatened after their personal information has been shared.
I've had terrible vitriol on my social media posts, calling me terrible names, none of which anyone who knows me would believe. For example, one of the comments was on a picture of my son and said, how would you feel if he was killed or something while you were being killed in your bed or something. So something terribly atrocious.
Dr. Moore is glad the federal government is finally acting to stamp out doxing.
The personal toll of doxing is waking up, seeing something, feeling your stomach fall, feeling anxious and worried about your personal reputation, your professional reputation, your livelihood. Most of us have young families.
This is legislation that's going to protect all Australians. We want to protect everybody in Australia from being targeted just because of who they are or what they believe.